Welcome back to video number 3 in our cold process soap bar transformation series. Today we're talking about how you can make your cold process soap special and going through different additives and extras that will give it just that little pop. Common ones that you would find in cold process soap, as well as some more unique and harder to find oils. So if you haven't watched the other two, but you are a beginner, I would highly recommend pressing pause and coming back after watching videos 1 and 2. Kicking off with additives. In the world of cold process soap, there are tons of options when it comes to additives or things that you can add into your cold process soap bar that is not a part of your regular recipe. So I chose just a couple that I have used before. Cover these additives, how they come from a supplier, and different ways that you can use them. First things first, this additive is actually very, very popular when making exfoliating soaps, and they are relatively easy to use. Okay, first things first, let's talk about jojoba beads. Jojoba beads are exactly that. They are little tiny beads that actually come in different granule sizes that you can add into your bars to make them exfoliating. So the main purpose of these jojoba beads is to turn your soap from a regular traditional bar soap into an exfoliating bar soap. I find jojoba beads to be really popular, not only for those qualities, but because they come in a lot of different colors, including neons, pastels, classic black and white. It just adds like a really nice variety to something and adds like a little touch of the unexpected. Though I will say, on the other hand, there is such a thing as adding too many jojoba beads to your recipe. Because of their exfoliating nature, they can come across scratchy on the skin if you're using too many of them in too small of a bar of soap. So always use caution and do your best with testing. Another great additive here that does come with quite the caveat is walnut shells, ground walnut shells. Again, for the same reason I love jojoba beads, they are a great, unique additive that gives your soap an exfoliating property. Also look really nice in brown toned soaps or tans or something like that. And if you're looking to make like a beach theme, they definitely end up looking like sand in your soap. But here's the caveat. Obviously, it is a nut, so you will have to make sure, and you want to doubly check, triple check that you are not selling this product without the proper disclaimer that there are nut shells in the bar, and when you're selling it in person, talking to people, just making sure they see that. We don't need any of those things. Oh, you didn't tell me it was walnut shells and I'm allergic, right? We don't want any of that to happen. So if you're using walnut shells, just be mindful and make sure that your disclaimer is or your allergy warning is super, super clear. Again, just like jojoba beads, when using walnut shells, if you use too many, then they will be scratchy on the skin. I think that these come in different granules too. I personally go with the finest granule available, but that's just me. Let's just stick with our exfoliating additives before moving on to others. The next one on my list is coffee grounds. Now, I have used these a couple of times and definitely have a few planned bars of soap using coffee grounds as an exfoliant. They're just a really unique way. They add a very nice texture to the soap, so it's a great exfoliator if you don't want the harshness of a jojoba bead. It's very nice. It's refreshing. Another great reason to use coffee grounds is because they are able to diversify among different products in your line. So though we are just covering cold processed soap, coffee grounds are a great option when considering exfoliation in other products as well. Salts, much like the others, come in tons of different sizes. I've used several before, and I find that they add a really unique quality, especially if you're doing a summer line. In the winter, I prefer to go more of like a black lava salt because I think it just adds like a warmer vibe, if possible, to my soaps. And then I stick with more of like the pink salt or the jade bamboo salt. I stick with those more so in the summer months. You'll see plenty of people that incorporate it into the actual bar itself, and then people like me who prefer just to have it on the top as like a nice little decoration. I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think it's a great additive that gives some more detoxifying properties to your bar of soap while also softening the skin. Let's talk about dried botanicals. I am definitely a dried botanical gal. I tend to add these botanicals in wherever I can find space, whether it be as a topper on my soap or within the soap, though I do think that that kind of gets a little bit messy depending on the botanical that you pick. For example, I have used crushed rose petals within a bar of cold processed soap and it's looked really nice, but then I've used dried calendula within a bar of soap, and during the cut it ended up like pulling them, so then my bar of soap had like little lines and everything. But I do think that they look beautiful as a topper. As we always say, you can take my recommendations, but you should always do your own testing. This is just, again, what I've found. I think that dried botanicals is a great way to kind of level up your bar without spending a ton of money, because some of these things, you know, as I'm sure you can imagine, are more pricey than others. Now, the last additive I want to cover is essential waters. I first learned of essential waters when formulating my own cold processed soap recipe. And by that, I mean what kinds of things I could add to my bar to make it more unique from the base recipe. And essential waters was a great choice. I know there are a ton of different ones out there. Okay, sorry, I had to adjust my lighting. I felt like it was looking a little harsh, but anywho, there are tons of essential waters that you can choose from. I personally love rose water, and no, it doesn't actually smell or make your bar smell like roses. When it first reacts in your lye water solution, it does give off that rosy scent, which is the same for all essential waters. But once you actually incorporate them into the bar, that scent evaporates and it takes over the smell of your fragrance oil. So don't be scared that adding this essential water is going to change like the fragrance of your bar, because it won't. So again, I prefer rose water. I chose rose water because I think, one, it's very elegant. It aligns with the luxury nature of my brand. It also has really nice skin calming abilities. Some others that I have seen before are lavender rose water, which I'm sure gives like a nice creamy, like serene vibe to your bar. Cucumber water, which obviously cucumber is a huge one for skin brightening and tone evening. Okay, sorry about that. I had to make a few adjustments to my card. My camera card filled up pretty quick from filming this series. Those are the main 3 essential waters that I have seen. Again, I tend to stick with that rose water. I just think it's really, really nice. But depending on the vibe of your brand, I think that the others would be better suited for you. Just depends on the vibe you're going for. I just wanted to remind you that I do have the accompanying downloadable guidebook available for this series. It goes through everything that we cover in the videos and gives you more information. There's like workbook sections, plenty of places for notes, as well as some more details that I couldn't find a place to fit in the videos. For example, the additives and oils that we're talking about today, I have everything that I am talking about on there as a resource, but then I also have like a table that can give you different combinations of additives that will be really nice for a finished bar of soap. Then I have a space for you to make your own formulations or combinations of additives and oils. And then I have a column, you know, I realized I didn't talk about price a lot, but I have a column in the guidebook. If you are interested in that guidebook, first of all, thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And the link for it is down in the description below.